What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Ol Drunken Geek again, and today I'm gonna discuss Deadpool 2. This is gonna be my partial review slash discussion of Deadpool. As you can see, I have a Deadpool shirt. I have issues. You get it? It's funny because he has issues, like as in comic books. The first thing I should say in the beginning of this video is that this is going to be a partial review and partial discussion of Deadpool and the X-Men universe as a whole. Also, spoilers, man. Spoilers, complete spoilers. I'm going to tell everything, spill all the tea, as they say, about the movie. So if you haven't watched the movie, you can just walk on out. Yeah, man. The first thing I got to say about this movie is that it elevated everything that was set up in the first Deadpool. It was funnier, the comedy was funnier, the action was a lot more action, and the heart was there. Not only there, in my opinion, it was elevated. It had a lot more heart. So, yeah. One thing about the movie that made it kind of tough to watch it the first time was you don't know what to throw away and what to keep because of obviously some hard story beats that happen in the beginning. Because of the tone of the movie, you don't know if it's like, oh, is this 100% for real? Where are we going with this? You know, but once you watch it a second time, you realize that everything in this movie was important all the way to the end. Even the jokes, everything, even the the things that can be written off like, that's just a silly joke, or that couldn't have happened, or I guess they're going in that direction or this direction. Just trust the movie would be my main thing to take away, because everything adds up at the end. By the end, you're like, oh, okay. And if you watch it a second time, you have Movie Pass, which are not a sponsor of Dropping Loads, but I wish they were. If you have Movie Pass and you can watch it, one time and then maybe pay for it another time, or if you can just watch it several times, you'll get a lot more from the movie. Because like I said before, everything is important in the movie all the way through the end. All the little details, all the little character beats, they're all important and they all stack up and add up toward the end. So once you figure that out, you realize that the movie has a lot of the same tropes and, narrative pitfalls that a lot of the superhero movies have, and that it's basically just a very streamlined, straightforward story. The only difference being, and the thing that sets it apart, is that it is a Deadpool movie, so it kind of takes the piss out of itself. It takes the piss out of just the superhero genre in general. So that makes it a lot more enjoyable, and kind of gives it a pass. It's like, okay, it's like a regular superhero movie, except it has this fourth wall breaking. It lets you forgive the movie for any mistakes that they may have it narratively, or just in general. Like for example, they had the scene where he sees the X-Men, or like, wait a minute, those are the X-Men from the 80s. You don't really care. You don't really care that it's 2000 something and they're the X-Men from the 80s. It's a joke, you know what I mean? And you can take Deadpool as that. That likeness helps the movie a lot in how it tells its story. Getting into some characters. The character Vanessa, some may say it was a little bit underused for the fact that, she dies in the beginning, and that sets up the, the motivation for the whole movie. But I felt like the little time that we got with her and, the different dreams and in the beginning was enough of her character, man. I don't think we needed more. Vanessa, what was she gonna do? Join the X-Force? Shoot machine guns off? I understand that everybody wants the love interest to kind of be a strong character and do all this stuff. But I think that Deadpool himself works best when he has some kind of motivation. And since the first movie, and even more in this movie, she's become his motivation, really. And I think she served her purpose. Not only that, she's the one who really added the heart to the movie, in my opinion. Not only via what happened to her, also, just kept showing up and giving him the advice and stuff like that. And I have some theories about her, or at least I had some theories before the end credit scenes, but I'll get to those later. Moving on to other really cool characters, obviously Josh Brolin as Cable was super fucking dope. He's a really good character. I do feel like he was a bit underserved in the movie though. We didn't get quite, we got a little bit of his backstory when we went to the past and they showed a little bit of his stuff, which, by the way, for the comic book fans, I don't know if it feels right. Cable like having a nice dinner in his nice apartment with his family, and Hope is his daughter. That got kind of weird for anybody who knows like a little bit about comics. But other than that, I thought it was okay. But he could have been served a little bit better. I felt like we needed a little bit more detail about his character, and he felt like he was completely shoehorned in, a lot like what's his name, Nick Fury was in Iron Man 2. But since I know that this is serving a higher purpose, because I know that there's an X-Force movie that will be coming out eventually, I can forgive that too. What can I say, man? He was fun. His chemistry with Ryan Reynolds was on fucking point. That is the Cable Deadpool chemistry, more or less. They do surprisingly have a lot in common, even though the characters are so different in their base of who their characters are. They still do share a lot of similarities, which is fun to watch on the big screen. Alright, so now that I brought up X-Force, I gotta say, man, the whole X-Force thing was fun. And that's what this movie was. Obviously, it's a Deadpool movie, so we all know that above everything, the movie is gonna be fun. And that's exactly what the X-Force was. Because the first incarnation of the X-Force, as you might have seen it, got fucking wrecked, dude. So that was kind of taking a piss out of, people who liked a certain generation of X-Force. That's kind of pissing on them, if anything, to be honest, because all those characters, Bedlam and Zeitgeist, Shatterstar, I know he wasn't in the same gen, but these are the ones that they're not really gonna use because they're kind of out there. The characters that that they're kind of out there, so I felt like it was like, okay, we're kind of including them, but also not. Let's not do that. So who ended up being the real X-Force is who I believe the team is at the end, which is Colossus, Cable, Deadpool, obviously. That Yukio girl, I believe she might be in the X-Force, maybe kind of possibly in the movie verse. Negasonic Teenage Warhead. She looks like in the movie verse. Also, she's the member of is gonna be the member of X-Force. So all those characters are cool, and obviously Colossus. Colossus is a huge one. No pun intended. All those supporting characters are really cool, especially in the beginning of the movie when they're putting Deadpool back together and they're at the X Mansion. All of that was real fun, and also very small character building for all of them. And but moving on to my favorite member of X-Force, Domino, OG X-Force in the movies, and she stuck around till the end. And let's just be clear, her power is not luck. Technically speaking, it's luck. It's probability manipulation. Everything works in her favor. That's just her mutant power. So that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to watch that type of power in action, because I know other comic book characters have this power, like Longshot and Jinx and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that would never work on screen, but no, it does. And it was very cinematic in the way that they did it, especially after when they were going after the Juggernaut and Fire Fist, when they were going after them on that convoy with all the jailhouse mutants. You got to see how that fucking worked out, and that was pretty fucking cool. I would never thought in a million years I would see probability manipulation, accurately portrayed in a movie. That was super, super dope, man. And I'm excited for the X-Force movie because I know we're gonna get a lot more of Sassy Beats as Domino. And bringing up the Juggernaut, man. The Juggernaut we finally got a Juggernaut, man. A Juggernaut worthy of the name. Not just the one we got from X3. This fucking Juggernaut was off the chain. He was dope. And that fight with Colossus was fucking incredible, man. I gotta say, it was funny. We got to see, not only was it funny and like it was comical, a lot of things, but we got to see how X-Men, or now X-Force, works as a cohesive team when they were able to take down Juggernaut. I want to see a lot more of that, man. I'm just thirsty for more. And yeah, man. You also got a pretty decent development with Colossus. You got a really, really good feel for the character. As if you already did it from the first one, this continued it on. And I know that he's going to be a member of X-Force because he was in the comics, or at least a version of X-Force in the comics. So I know that in the X-Force movie, he will be included. And it's going to be super dope just seeing the interaction between all these characters. The only character I had a little bit of a problem with, that I didn't like exactly how he was written, was that Fire Fist character. And not because he comes from the comics, or like they didn't ruin my childhood or anything, because to be honest, I didn't know who that Fire Fist character was at all. I had to like Google him, and he's kind of different from the comics anyway. So it was kind of an original character, but some of his lines were mad corny, that, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. It's like, I don't know about all that, bro. That's kind of, I didn't really care for that. That was kind of whack. Yeah, and the kid didn't fairly serviceable job. He did an okay job. Some of those lines were kind of tough to chew on, so I don't even blame the kid actor for it. But the storyline on how it links to Deadpool was cool. That I really liked. How he's, he want, family is not just an F word. It's, more than that. They're family, they're a group, and stuff like that. And that your choices do have repercussions in the future, as we saw, like, immediately. Sometimes you do things as a kid and shit like that you don't even, you're like, ah, fuck it, whatever, I'll deal with it later. And it's not like that, man. Your actions do have consequences, and they display that very prominently in the movie. And yeah, man, that's more or less the end of my review. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a fun romp. It was mad fun. I know I shitted on it a lot, but I had more complaints because it was easier to do the review that way, because movie is kind of mishmashed and everywhere. But like I said, the fact that it was a Deadpool movie and the fact that he's taking a piss out of it and the comedy and everything makes it work. And upon a second viewing, I gotta say, man, I give this movie 4 shots for my review, which I think is pretty fair. The end credit scenes showed us that Deadpool does go back in time. Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, fix the fucking time machine or whatever, which was kind of weird. And he goes first, and the first thing he does is obviously save Vanessa. He saves her or whatever. And then he goes back, and we have a lot of funny stuff with him going back to the Wolverine Origins movie, and him shooting Ryan Reynolds in the head for that Green Lantern script, whatever. This was all fun and cool and stuff like that, but I felt like in a way it took away a little bit from the movie, because it's like, oh, he went through all that, then he just got Vanessa back. But it being an end credit scene, we don't know, that point where he gets the time machine. We don't know in the timeline where that is, because that could be a year from now, 2 years from now. They could have gone on their X-Force adventures already, which is going to be the next movie probably. So you don't know exactly in the timeline where this is. And this set off a lot of theories in my head, because when you get those scenes of Deadpool, this is me watching the movie before seeing the end credit scenes. When I was watching those, and it's obviously that he's talking to Vanessa and she's dead and she's like a ghost, she's like in heaven or whatever. I also took it as when she was telling him stuff like maybe it's not our time yet and stuff like that. I took it as maybe this is like a parallel universe, you know what I mean? Or a parallel timeline. And he's just like kind of reaching in there, but not quite getting it. And certain things have to happen. Because I feel like the X-Force movie is probably gonna deal heavily with time travel. And when you get timey-wimey like that, shit gets complicated. So for the whole movie, as far as I was seeing her, I'm like, okay, it could be her in the afterlife, or it could be her in a parallel timeline telling him, guiding him, telling him it's not quite how it has to be for me to be able to exist and the timeline not to be fucked up. So I was like, okay, cool, that could be it. And then they just kind of pulled the rug up from under me, so I was kind of mad, but at the same time, obviously the Vanessa character is so cool, and she means so much to them. It broke your heart in the beginning when you saw that happen, so you were like, okay, cool, maybe she's back for real. But my whole thing is, it being an after credit scene, it's left it nebulous. It's left it like, okay, maybe not. Fox or Disney or whatever still has room to play with it now that that's happened. Not only that, it set off even more theories in my head. What if by Deadpool traveling through time, fucking up timeline, he actually caused, inadvertently, kind of like Flash and Flashpoint, inadvertently caused Deadpool's daughter, even though I believe that's technically his sister, Hope, to die again. And there's no way of fixing this, so the third Deadpool movie would be after a couple of X-Force movies, and now it's Cable hunting Wade and Vanessa. That I think would be, it's a cool little theory that I have, and that would be a cool movie to watch. Because after they go through their X-Force adventures, whatever they may end up being, and then later on that the Cable figures out like, whoa, at some point you fucked with the timeline, and now my daughter / sister is dead. My daughter's sister. I don't know if Cable get down like that, boy. Getting on that Jean Grey. But yeah, that's another fun little theory that I have, and these are things that could possibly happen in my universe. They will happen, and yeah. Speaking further on that, the X-Men universe, nobody knows what's happening with it as far as the movie universe is concerned. And as of today, which is, what day is it? the 22nd,
23rd.
23rd of June, 2018. It's still undecisive, but it looks like that Fox Disney deal is gonna completely go through. Disney just offered them more money and cash and stock, so they set up a pretty good deal for Fox. So it looks like that's happening. At this point, I don't even care. My thing is like the X-Men universe is so big and so wide that even in my head, even in the comics, I've always tried to keep it a little bit separate from the rest of the Marvel universe. Now, in later years, in the comics, it's been kind of hard to do because they're also intertwined, you know, Avengers versus X-Men and all that stuff. So it's, you know, it's not like that anymore. But when I was growing up, I always thought like the X-Men are there. They're just on their own little side doing their thing. And I just feel like it serves the movie universes better to have them separate. That's just me. But I wouldn't be mad if Disney got them because Disney basically knocks them out the park every time. I would just like the X-Men movies to go under a separate banner than the Marvel Studios banner. You know, still made by the same people, just let's make these a little bit more adult in theme and stuff like that. So, just my little rant about that. But yeah, man, I have high hopes for it, I guess. At this point, it's so many superhero movies come out in a year. So many franchise movies come out in a year. And the only one that really seems like they've got it nailed down is Marvel. Star Wars even has been like flailing a little bit with the last couple of how the last movies have been received. So I don't know, man. It's a great time to be a nerd. At the same time, I feel like at times they might be overdoing it. So I don't know. Maybe focus more on like Netflix shows and stuff like that. I would like to see a lot more of that, other than just like big released movies. But so anyway, that was my little discussion / review. It was probably mostly a review than a discussion, and my little theories that I have on the X-Men universe. And yeah, man, if you like this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe if you want to keep watching this content. Check us out on Instagram, dropping loads, Ol Drunken Geek. Ol, not old, O, like an old motherfucker. Ol Drunken Geek, OL. Check me out on Instagram, and yeah, man, catch you fuckers next time. Peace.